When I think about my youth, that's where the arts come into play, because that's the time when you know, in your young years, you could just see where you naturally go to. So I was always naturally pulled towards music, naturally pulled towards writing. It was writing contests and I would win. And, you know, so I've just always been a writer. Art has just always been in me and who I was. Some people are sports people. I was either music, literature, food.
Yeah.
Music, literature, knowledge, food.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, my goodness, and we pass it along. Tune in and listen to us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we give you our story with the Lively Art of Conversation. Well, hey, I'm back. You know what time it is. You remember, it's Sunday, 0730, 0830, Lively Art of Conversation. It is your boy, you know who I am, that culture enthusiast, that community facilitator, that guy. That guy is Dr. Rodney Duckett, and I'm back with the Lively Art of Conversation, where you live, you learn, you earn, my goodness, we pass it along. Hey, I got a new guest. It's a new week. I got a new guest, but before I get to my new guest, I got to do what I do. I got to pay the bills. Yes, I got to pay the bills because I got some underwriters out there that keeps this show flowing. And at this time, I want to take a moment to let those underwriters know how appreciative I am and how appreciative you are by giving them their spot. So we'll be right back.
This is Lavina Sabri with So Natural Catering and Bomb A Lemonade, and you're listening to the Lively Art of Conversation.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com. Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
Hello, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC Outreach @gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. Hey, we're back with the Lively Art of Conversation. If you have a show, if you have a message, if you have a product, or if you just want to buy some commercial time for an event that's coming up, hit me up with livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. And like I said, we got a show for you here today. But what I do with every show is I start off with the word of the day, which leads to the quote of the day that also leads to the actual question of the week, a question that you can work on. Now, let me tell you what I do. When I have someone on the show much smarter than me, I try not to challenge them. So I'm just going to take a step to the side. And before I introduce my guest for the show, I'm going to have her start off with the word, the quote, and the question.
Greetings, everyone. The word of today is initiative. Initiative. It means the ability to assess and initiate things independently, the power or opportunity to act or take charge before others do. Initiative. And let's see, I like to read all the definitions, so we're going to keep going. An act or strategy intended to resolve a difficulty or improve a situation, a fresh approach to something. And the last one, especially in the U.S., they say the right of citizens outside the legislature to originate legislation. So, initiative.
And what questions do you have for the audience that they can work on for the week?
For the week, are you taking the initiative to make your life better? Are you taking the initiative to make someone else's life better? Are you taking the initiative to use your gifts, your skills, your talents, and put them to work? Instead of burying those talents, are you using or taking the initiative to make it happen?
Bam. I tell you, you heard it from this week's guest. Yes, my guest this week, I think the name is kind of befitting. I had to ask her again, was this actually your name? But her name is Miss Miriam Manifesto.
Manifest.
Oh, see, I was just like, I butchered it already. See, my audience know I'm a butcherer, but Miss Maria Manifest, that's a very unique name.
Miriam Manifest.
Miriam Manifest.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a very unique name.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Where did that name originate from?
Man.
I mean, because Manifest, like, wow.
That's a good name. That's a good question. A lot of people ask me. I get that all the time. They're like, is that your real name? Is that your real name? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, I don't believe you. Show me your ID. I'm like, I don't need you to believe me, but that's me. So, yes, that is my legal name, Miriam Manifest.
Oh, man. Like, yes. I still want to put the O on it for whatever reason.
Hey, you can. You can.
I'm not going to do that to you. No, it's a pleasure having you on the show. And, for you guys that don't know, and she's going to probably tell you throughout the show, she is an author, and she does a lot of self-help work within the community. But she also likes to work with young authors or anybody that's just trying to get that book out. She is what I kind of call a liaison to you writing that book, so to speak. So thank you for being on the show. Thank you. And before we get started, because my audience sometimes always asks me, you go deep into the questions without us getting to know that person, let's unpack your life.
Wow. How much time do we have? What would you like to know? What do you think the audience would like to know?
Well, let's talk about the genesis of you. We kind of talked a little bit about you being by way of Jacksonville, Florida. So let's start with that and your interest in school and books and traveling and things like that.
The genesis. Let me just say, I love the vocabulary, right? When I heard that the name of the show was The Art of Lively Conversation, I was in just by the title because I am an English major, have a bachelor's degree in English and drama. So that means basically I'm good at words. I'm good at knowing how to use them. But the drama part is that's the writing, the acting, the arts part of it. But the genesis of it, the beginning of me, wow. I was born in Jacksonville, Florida, but shortly after I was born, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. So I was raised there for the bulk of my life. And then as high school years, that's when I went back to Jacksonville, Florida. So I like to tell people I'm bistacial because I can't just claim one, without claiming the other. So yes. Atlanta, Georgia, that's my heart. That's my home. But Jacksonville, Duval. That's where I was born. So I got to represent both of those. But that's where I'm from.
Well, I'm kind of scared now because you're an English major, and I think my grammar is like all tore up. You ain't going to be correcting me on the air, are you? You already started with your name, so...
Well, they say you got to make sure they get the name right.
Yes, ma'am.
Make
yes,
sure they
ma'am.
get
Miss
the name
Miriam
right.
Manifest
Yes.
is the name.
Yes.
Yeah. So, growing up in Jacksonville, Florida, you went to elementary school and stuff there, I take it. How was your life experience growing up in Jacksonville? I've been to Jacksonville only once, so it's kind of muggy there.
Well, growing up there, again, I have that half and half duality of being in Atlanta, being school in Atlanta, Georgia, but also in Jacksonville, Florida. But growing up there, when I think about my youth, that's where the arts come into play, because that's the time when you know, in your young years, you don't have to think about bills. You could just see where you naturally go to. So I was always naturally pulled towards music, naturally pulled towards writing. It was just something that I naturally did. I would enter contests in school, writing contests, and I would win. And, you know, so I've just always been a writer. Art has just always been in me and who I was. I just naturally, you know, some people are sports people. I was either music, literature, knowledge.
Oh, wow.
Music, literature, knowledge. Food.
Yeah.
Music, literature, knowledge, food.
A lot of people don't know that you need food to think.
Oh my
gosh. So I can only imagine you with, like, I don't know what you like. You look like a potato chip eater.
Oh my gosh, I am probably one of the healthiest eaters. A lot of people are so surprised. I am a plant-based eater. A lot of people like to say vegan, which is basically we don't eat meat, we don't eat cheese, we don't eat anything from an animal. But I don't like to use the term vegan because some vegans, they don't eat honey because it comes from a bee.
Oh,
but
okay.
I eat honey because it's not hurting the bee. The bee naturally makes it. So I just like to say plant-based eater, but I'm really an ingredient reader. That's how I retain my healthiness. So if I read ingredients and it sounds like it need to be on the periodic table, I'm putting it back.
She said periodic table.
I'm putting it back.
So I know I don't supposed to ask a woman how old they are, and I'm not going to do that because my mom will probably call in. But
hey, Mom.
But what I will say is this right here. You don't look like you have a 19-year-old.
Well,
you look like you 19.
Wow. Well, I'm going to say gratitude for that. I am 44 years young, and I have a 19-year young daughter. Because I am a linguist, right, and an English major, I'm so conscious of the words we use. So I don't even want to use words like old.
Yes.
They say, how old are you? I say, I'm 44 years young, right?
Yeah.
Young. Because it makes the difference. One word can just change the way you look, right? Because a lot of people tell me how young I look. Yes. And it's because I don't resonate with the old.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So when you say, am I going to correct you? It's just a little adjustment. Just a little adjustment, right? So, but yeah, I've never been one of those people that lie about my age. I believe in just being my true, authentic self. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of my age. I'm 44 years young. I mean, I feel good. I think I look good.
Yeah, you hitting along. Yeah.
And I used to be much bigger than this. And that's the journey of changing my eating habits. It started, I was just going to do a challenge. A lot of people do those silly challenges, crate challenges that just don't better their lifestyle. But when I did the vegan challenge for 2 weeks, I was like, let me try it. And I tried it and I noticed a difference. The swelling, my feet used to swell. My swelling started going down. The way my body digests food, it was breaking it down better. And I'm like, okay, I might need to try this out a little, just extend it. So that 2 weeks went to a lifestyle. So I didn't start vegan. I took out the beef and the pork, just gradually start pulling things. And it's like the more I start pulling things from the diet, the better I felt, the better my brain felt. The more I start thinking, taking the initiative for myself, not letting people think for me, and just reading, right? Reading the ingredients, something as simple as that. And what I noticed was I did not work out. And I know people, I'm not saying this to be proud. I'm telling you the truth. I did not work out. I changed my eating habits and that weight start coming off.
Wow.
And I tell people, they say, what did you do? Especially the people that saw me when I was, what did you do? I tell them and they say, oh, I don't want to do that. I'm not giving up my meat. And that's fine. So the thing is, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but until a person takes the initiative to say, I'm going to at least start with reading it. Let me at least start.
Yeah.
And so the lives that I've changed, just where people, they'll say, I think about you when I'm in that line at Chick-fil-A. They say, I know you wouldn't agree with it, but they was like, I'm at least reading the ingredients in the grocery stores now. I'm at least picking the chips because I will eat chips, but they need to be organic. They need to have sea salt. I try not to buy any ingredients that just says salt.
Yeah.
Because I know that's iodized. And so I try to go more towards ingredients that are healthy and more organic. That the less ingredients, the better.
I like that about you because everything that you're saying is correct. So I'm going to tap into Rodney Duckett's story. Before I became this hulking man over here that you see, I was like a little skinny itty bitty dude. Like I was like a vegan myself, and I used to do half marathons and 5Ks, and I was very good. Matter of fact, I ran for the All Army team, so I was a cross country runner. Very, very good, very talented, and plant-based was so good for my joints. And then when I got out of the military, I got a taste for steak again. I don't know what happened. So I haven't been able to put down steak forever.
No
I
judgment.
love a steak. Yeah, but I will say that majority of my diet is very heavily scrutinized from what I put in my mouth, But I am a red meat. That is my kryptonite. I don't know what it is about red meat, but and maybe it's because of growing up in Oklahoma and being around a lot of cattle. We didn't eat pork. Chicken was kind of like, it was kind of there, but it was, you go pop the neck and, throw it in the hot water and things like, there's a process, but beef was already readily available. But I noticed when I went to the military, when I was forced to change my diet, to stay healthy, that was a good way to go. So I commend you for keeping up with it, and it's really kind of like halted the aging process of you. So,
well, you said something important, Forrest, and that's what I'm grateful for, that I was able to start my healthy eating journey by choice.
Yes.
And not by force. A lot of people, they're forced to change because the doctors are telling them you have high blood pressure, kidney disease, and people are saying, oh, it runs in my family. No, it does not. Diseases do not run in families, but your eating habits do. So people have to stop saying that. It doesn't make it true because they keep saying it, but so I'm just grateful that I did it by choice. Right? By choice. And who knows? Like, my feet used to swell, but I used to be like, oh, maybe because I stay up all night, I stay up late, right? No, it was the foods that I was eating. Yeah. And a lot of times that's where a lot of the issues in the body and the mind come from, is what we're putting in. And not just food. Mm-hmm. What we're watching, what we're listening to, everything.
So you say you're from Jacksonville, you're from Atlanta, you got this duality. I'm going to challenge you. You got a triality because you're here in Central Texas. What's up with that?
Yes, I have. This year makes my 10th year in Texas, y'all. And I love Texas. Like, people like, you come back home? No, not by choice. But I love Texas. The way that I got here is so spiritual. God had told me to come to Texas. Now, when God had told me to come to Texas and Florida, I knew no one here. There was no reason for me to be here. And the little bit of connection I had here, I was just like, I don't know how that's going to work. To make a long story short, I ended up in Texas. I had many opportunities to go everywhere. I was trying to go everywhere but Texas. I don't know why. But I ended up here. And so I'm in this mode of figuring out, okay, I'm here, now what? So I'm in that now what season of my life. But when I realized I've been here 10 years, I'm like, okay, Lord, now what now? 10 years. But I've evolved so much since I've been here. My daughter has evolved so much. I know we were going to talk about a list of achievements, and I know most people, they think about the trophies or the awards, but I think one of my most biggest achievements is being able to raise a teenager that can think for herself, right? Raising a teenager that can trust her own intuition. Being a teenager that can use the initiative, right? Because at 19, I didn't know the things that she knows now. There's things that I just learned yesterday at 44 years young, right? That she's learning now at 19. And I'm like, you're going to be so much better. And, you know, when I think about us humans and the reproductive, it's like cloning. And with cloning or with an upgrade to a laptop or update to your phone, it's supposed to make things better. Each clone, right? Each version is supposed to be better. So I'm proud of that version that I made. So when we talk about achievements, I wrote books. I've been in plays, award-winning plays, right? Fences, just to put that out there. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Right? So I'm one of those people, I actually use my talents, right? But when I think about accomplishments, my accomplishments is right there behind the camera.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
My accomplishment is right there.
And it's so amazing that you said that. In the last episode, I had a good dear friend. He's like a big brother, Jamil, and we were talking about like redepositing, you know, a skill set back into manhood for the younger men that are out there that kind of has breaks in the system itself of manhood. So the mere fact that you're saying that, you know, cloning, replicating, and making better really speaks volume to you truly understanding what it is, what you leave behind on this earth should be better than what has already perished from this earth. So that's very powerful statement right there. Yeah. So, and she's very, very, she looks young too. She came in. Let me tell you something. Like, I didn't know she was 44, honestly. So you guys look at her. She don't look 44. So I'm thinking in my mind, you know, she's in her 20s, late 20s or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. And then she said a child. So I said, oh, this is a kind of tall child. You know, I'm thinking like maybe this child's in the 6th or 7th grade or something like that. She said, no, this baby 19 years old. I was like, what? 19 where? You know, I think everybody, y'all need to pull out y'all IDs. I don't believe y'all. I don't. I'm about to go vegan. I need to get my youth back. Will it help my gray beard turn black?
Now that I can't promise you, because I got some wisdom going all up in this pro. I haven't figured that one out yet, but I'm starting to embrace it.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, this is Dr. Rodney Duggan with the Lively Art of Conversation. We'll be right back.
Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
Hey, we are back with the Lively Art Conversation, where you live, you learn, you earn. My goodness, you pass it along. I am here with Miss Miriam Manifest. But I want to put the O on it.
Go on and put the O on.
I want to put the O on it. And I'm having a good time with her today. We're unpacking, and basically what I got from this conversation is she looks like she's 25 and she's got like a sixth grader here with me right now. So, but that's not true, you know. But hey, let's talk about some of the things that you've learned along the way. But I want to talk about this book writing, you know, because this is how I met you. I met you in your talent, in your gift of book writing. And you've said you've seen me at events, and I do remember you. But you say I'm always busy, but I'm never too busy to talk to people, you know. So I love talking to people. But let's talk about how you got started in the arena of book writing.
Well, again, I'm one of those writers, like many writers. We just have journals of stuff. Sometimes you just write. And so I've always been a writer, and I was like, once I moved to Texas, I wasn't obedient, y'all. I was forced to Texas, but it was an easy force. It was the easiest move I ever had in my life. So when, you know, I do believe when God is in it, it'll make things smoother. So, but once I got here, I wasn't under the pressure to have to hurry up and get a job or hurry up and run a business. I just had that time to relax. And that's what I love about life, what I call inspired action. When you don't have to be forced to work and you see what your body naturally wants to do. What does it feel inspired to do?
Yeah.
So I looked through all of the journals I had or all the writings I had. And one of the advice that I give my writers is to start with the one that is the most complete. And that was actually a children's book. So it already had illustrations that when I was in college, a guy drew the illustrations for me. And I had the story. It was just about putting it out. So I went with that. Now, I do write adult content, but so it's interesting that that's the first one that came out. But that's how it started. And I went through the process. I had a young lady helping me at the time, but it got to a point that it just felt like I was doing it by myself, and it felt overwhelming. And I was like, oh, my God. But, you know, you get to a point, you just got to keep going. You got to keep going. But once I finished it, and the lady who referred me, Renee Blue, she was actually helping me at the time with the marketing. Yes, she's the one that referred me to you after I wrote the book. Yes. And that's how we connected. Wow. So I do believe in connections. And but I wrote that book, and after I did it, a lot of people was like, wow, you published a book. I always wanted to write a book. Now, I must say this, before I actually published the book, I was an editor. So I am an editor by trade. That's what I do. I edit for businesses, apps. They'll have me edit their content before they put it out, but also writers. So that is what I was doing. But people was like, I want you to help me write my book. Can you edit? Oh, I didn't know you edit. Let me do this. So that's how the business started. So one book, I turned one book into a business.
Wow. That's amazing. So Renee Blue, you brought up a name. I have not seen her in years. You know, if you're listening, Renee, I need to catch up with you.
Yeah,
you know,
she is so awesome.
Yeah, she is very awesome. She's done like a lot of work for me back in the day with other events that I've had. So she does some great work. So, and it's funny that you say children's book. I've had several children's book authors here. You know, I just recently had Tony B. Shelton. I had Janae Ratcliffe that's been on the show. You know, they're children's book authors. I think Aya Nelly's written a children's book as well too. And it's cool because my travels in Africa, the one piece of content that I know that's missing in the American lexicon is fables and stories that look like us. Ring Around the Rosie, Goldilocks, and Snow White, and all this other stuff that they have out here does not embody who we are. So when I went over to Africa studying lullabies, which was one of the things that I studied over there, all the lullabies was about making young men into strong warriors or making young ladies into strong queens to take care of the village. And a lot of it was just beautiful because it was for them. So I really extend my hat to anybody that's writing children's book to uplift our children so they can see themselves for what they are. You know, they are the next future leaders in our country, you know, so, and that really means a lot to me. So tell me about some of your other writings that you have.
Well, published wise, I am a published poet
okay
as well. Back in college, they took one of my poems and they put it in there. So so a published poet. A couple of things are not out yet. So I am working on my first film, but again, just like books, they have to go through layers of editing for the best. Most people, and with AI and technology today, people can just put stuff in the system and, you know, send it through the system now. But sometimes the AI is still not human, right?
Yeah.
You may want ain't. You may want it to say ain't in the book, right? AI gonna say it's not right. Ain't is not right? So sometimes you still need that human eye on it to just make sure that it's clear and it makes sense. So I'm actually working. My first book was called Honey in the Woods. It's a coloring book story. So it's a reading story. It's a coloring book, but it also introduces Spanish. Because when I wrote the book, it was just for fun, like a challenge. Again, like the vegan.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a pattern as I talk to you. These things that change my life, they start out as a challenge. And then they end up becoming something bigger. But once I realized I was going to make it public, right, for children, I knew there had to be an educational aspect. Because as you said, the lullabies that we sing here in the U.S., no parent should sing those lullabies.
Most definitely.
To their children. They are not healthy lullabies. And that's what that challenge was Honey in the Woods. We had to pick a fairy tale and basically fracture it. And I picked Goldilocks and the Three Bears because my thought is, well, what is she even doing in the woods, right? What, you have these questions like, so, with my book, with the coloring book, we had to make it a little shorter. But the second version that we're coming out with now is the actual the storybook. So the pages will already be colored. We're still going to include that foreign language element in it because I feel like we as Americans should know more languages than we know.
Yeah, definitely.
All the other countries are teaching their kids first grade, second grade, third grade, and here we like, we wait all the way to get to high school. So that's my way of just trying to at least push it in there, an introduction to another foreign language. So I want to be able to have all those elements in the children book. So that's what's up next. So that's what's next. I've helped so many other authors publish their books, but again, I have to use the same advice that I'm giving my authors. Okay. And it's about get started, get finished, and get published. Like, you have to take the initiative. You got to do the steps.
Gotcha.
Right? Because with my business, I like to provide education, information, because a lot of people, they want to write a book, but they don't know where to start. And so I'm like, I provide the one-on-one or group consultation, so this way they can find out everything that's involved in the publishing process, see where they're at in the process, and say, hey, this is your checklist, this is your guide, this is how you need to go about getting it done. So, yes, so my second book, working on that in the midst of working on other clients and just lifing. But I don't use excuses. I just like to take time. Sometimes you could just take time. I always set a timer. 15 minutes, I'm going to work on my book. When the timer go off, I'm done. Right? If you did that every day or even once a week, you will have progress.
Yes.
And that's with anything. That's not just a book. That's with anything. That laundry that's sitting up. Hello, I'm talking to myself. That laundry, Lord. Just set the time and just fold the clothes. Laundry. Right? Hello?
But no, you're right. You're right. I mean, like, honestly, and I've had people before, because I'm sitting on probably like 20 books right now, and it's just setting a timer and prioritizing it and getting those things done. Outside of being a book author, you do a lot of self-help type stuff. Tell me about the things that you're doing.
Yes. So sometimes people come to me for advice, right? Okay. Or they're all consultations in my mind because I am a business, right? Yeah. Even though I understand sometimes you're helping people, but even in that, it's still a business. So it's a consultation, in my mind. But they may come to me for different reasons. Some people want their eating habits to change. Some people want their thinking habits to change. Some people want to speak better and differently because I've also been a Toastmaster. So while I'm from Atlanta and I can be like, hey, shawty, what up? You know what I mean? I can talk like that, right? But I am a very educated woman, right? So I've trained people that are getting ready to do speaking events or public. They'll want me to hear their, their speech or whatever and just help them work on that. Again, a lot of people, the spiritual aspect of it. We're all spiritual, but some are more tapped in than others. So meditation, a lot of people, you will be surprised when people like, how do I meditate? I want to start doing it. I know you mention meditation all the time. So it's just, for each individual, it's different, but it always goes back to going within. Slowing down and going within.
Yeah, and that was a question I was going to ask you. What's some of the biggest problems that you may have with people during self-help? Is it being able to sit in solitude, meditate, go within, or is there other issues that is more paramount than that one?
I would say one of the biggest issues is the programming, the mind programming that they have had from youth on up to adulthood. We've all been programmed, whether it's by parenting, by school system, by whatever it is. So when you change something, when you're talking about food or the way you think or the way you speak or what you watch and listen to, it's a change. It's a change that has to be done. And so you have to, even what religion, a lot of people are stuck on the religious aspect as well. So I think it's the mindset. It's just about changing the way you see things, changing the perspective, but doing it in a way to where, I don't know. I'm one of those people, I just offer God. Sometimes to me, I'm just talking, right? But other people, they'll say, you helped me with that. You gave me that advice. I'm like, advice? What advice? I should have charged you for that then. Shoot. So, but some things I do naturally, because remember, everyone is asking themselves something inside themselves, or they're asking God for something, or they're asking a question, and sometimes the answers, they may come through a podcast, right? They may come through a show you're watching. They may come, you just never know how the answers are going to come. So everybody's asking a question within themselves, and what I realize is that the answers usually, they'll play out, they'll come.
Yeah, and I like that, because I think wise consultation is very important. A lot of people give bad advice, and I've been privy to cleaning up a lot of messes when people are coming to me and say, well, such and such said this. I'm like, who would tell you to do something like that? I like, are they ribbing you? Like, are they playing a joke with you? Because that is like, that's not a good thing. So this is what I think you should do. I started my journey off being a life coach years ago. I think I probably was one of the first life coaches in this area. And just to sit down and work with people, the initiative was the word that you used, to get them to actually use initiative to start something and stick to it to the very end was the biggest thing. So fulfilling to see a single mom, go back to school, going through the adult education programs that they have to make sure your English, your reading, your arithmetic is up to par, passing a nursing entrance exam to get into nursing school, and seeing them gravitate through nursing school, all by using your coaching, is very, very, very good and fulfilling. So I really admire that about you, that people come to you for wise consultation, because it's very hard to find wise consultation nowadays. And then some people, as we know, you can pay for a service and get the total opposite of that.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. So with your self-help, in your book writing, what else are you doing out there?
Oh, man. Let's see. I'm an actress.
Let's unpack that actress. Fences. Fences is a great playwright. So how did you get involved in acting, and how did you get that role?
Well, I started in acting right before I started my my bachelor's degree. I was into music. I had started back in the day. You couldn't easily upload music the way you did now. You had to have a label, or you had to do this. So back then I had produced my own album, and I was so proud of myself because I was independent. It was just me, so I was in music. But because I was around music people during the time, they were shooting films, and they was like, hey, we want you to be in one of our films? And I was like, okay, cool. And I came and I didn't know what I was doing. I said, oh, Lord. So when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for college, I had found one that would give, the English part that still allowed me to do all the arts and the music stuff.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up with that. But really, I didn't do much of it in Florida. And even with Texas, it took a while for me to get back in it. But then because I'm really theater trained. Okay. So, yes, I can do film and things like that, but I'm theater trained. And so, I just apply for different roles, and I was getting them. And, I really love that. I love doing things that doesn't feel like work. Like when I'm somewhere and I don't have to keep looking at my time and I look up and I've been there 5 hours or 8 hours or 12 hours and I'm not really concerned about the time, I know that I really love that. In art, in all forms, that's that place for me.
Yeah. So if somebody is listening right now and say, hey, you know what, I want to start writing a book, or I need help, how did they get started? Like writing the book. Let's talk about writing the book, because I meet so many people. They come to me and say, I want to write a book. I was like, I don't know nothing how to write a book. I need to write a book myself. So what's your advice to them? What's your sales pitch to them?
Well, to the audience, I would say, look at what you already have. Most writers already have a bunch of writings in journals. I tell them to look at what they have and put it in categories, right? Some people, they may have a bunch of writings about grief. They may have a bunch of writings about gardens. They may have a bunch of writings about relationships, right? Or some may have spiritual religion. Separate them, because people may have more than one book in front of them when they separate it into categories. And then I say, get it typed up, right? Because most people, like you say, they say, I want to write a book. I'm like, where are you in the process? You started writing? They like, no, it's just in my head. We got to get it out of your head and onto the paper. Yeah. And so I would just say, categorize it. If you haven't started writing, you have to start, because a lot of people ask me, do I ghostwrite? And the answer is no, because I don't want credit for, if I wrote it, then I want to get credit. But if the other person wrote it, I want them to get credit. So I don't really like doing that. I turn to ghostwriting now. Like, I like people, let's work with what you have. I want to bring your vision to fruition, right? And they should be proud. A lot of people, I know, because of the content, some people don't want to put their real name or make it public because of the church. They don't want the church to know their business, or they don't want the job to know their business, or for whatever reason, and I get that. But I feel like, and it's a way to be anonymous. You don't, you can publish and still be anonymous, but I just believe that you got to get it out of your head. The first step is to type it up. Nowadays, you can talk to your phone and it'll type it, transcribe it for you. So it's like, there's no excuse now. Just get it out of your head, get it all typed up. Once it's done with that, it's ready pretty much to go to the editing process.
So far as the writing process, I know some people say that you have to prep your Word document, double space it, indentions, all of that stuff. Or is it just better just to regurgitate what's in your head on paper and go from there? I
always tell the writer, when you're the writer, be the writer. Don't try to be the writer and the editor and the grammarian and the professor. It's like, just be the writer. Get it out. It doesn't matter how it comes out, because your editor is the person and hopefully I'm your editor, but your editor is the one that helps you clean it up, make sense of it, to make sure it's flowing properly, and all that, the grammar stuff is there. But I just say, get it out of your head. Type those emotions out, or the lessons out, or whatever people are wanting to share. Just get it out. Type it up and go from there. Use the initiative.
Use the initiative. All right. Hey, this is Dr. Rodney Duggett. You listen to the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, and we'll be right back.
This is Miss Miriam Manifest, and you are listening to the Lively Art of Conversation.
Hey, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. If you have a show that you're interested in doing, please reach out to me at the Lively Art of Conversation at gmail.com. And we are back. And I want to put the O in her name. Miss Miriam Manifest is her name. I don't know why I want to say manifesto. Maybe because I was working with the boys on their manifesto. I want to say manifesto real bad, but she is a very multi-talented, multifaceted, and she has this, she said duality, I say triality, far as state to state to state, because she is by way from Jackson, by way of Atlanta. Now she has rerouted herself right here in Central Texas, and she wants to work with you on your book. She wants to work with you far as self-help. And there's so much of her. She's an actor, you know, she's done some modeling. I'm telling you, this woman, and doesn't age. Like, on top of that, she doesn't age. I mean, I think somewhere in Florida you found the fountain of youth and you've been drinking from it. Is that what it is?
Man. Man, it's all plant-based.
It's all plant-based. That's it. No, she looks phenomenal. Her and her daughter looks phenomenal. So as we begin to kind of power down on this show here, I want to know more about how do we establish that initiative as it begins to either writing that book or doing the things that we want to do, because there's a lot of people, and we heard this terminology of stuck. They're just stuck in the place that they are. They can't get beyond the certain place. You know, you hear people saying, you know, you're sitting still, you need to jump. How do you get people that extra push that they need? Because sometimes people do need the motivation and push to go out and do go out and share the gifts that they have buried inside of them.
That's a good question. When you're stuck in any situation, right, whether it's life or moving or arts, books, whatever even if you're stuck, right, if you're in mud, you have to do something different. If you keep, it's like, if it's not working, you got to do something different. Sometimes, especially with authors, I tell them if they get stuck in their writing, you have to go do something else.
Okay.
You have to walk away from it and go do something totally different. And it's not just with books. I've learned a lot of the advice I give, or I don't like calling this advice. I would say suggestions, right?
Suggestions.
So a lot of the suggestions I give is from my own life experience, because it's like, yeah, I went through this, you know, so no author can come to me and tell me any woe is me story, because I've been there. And it's like, you keep going.
Yes.
Right? You may have to stop. You may have to go do something else, right? Sometimes it's a month. Sometimes it's 6 months. But go back to it. Look at it with a fresh eye, right? And sometimes some people will start on one book and they get stuck, but maybe that's not the book for you to come out with right now. Because I feel like when it's time, it's going to flow. It's going to be so easy and simple. It just flows. So sometimes to get unstuck, you have to do something different. And sometimes you have to stop trying to do things by yourself.
Oh, yes. Man, keep preaching to me, because it seems like I do a lot by myself.
Most business-minded people, business owner, we are in that mindset to where we do things by ourselves. But the more you grow internally or as a company or a business, you got to have help, right? Because those people's skills or what they know, their knowledge, it can help you get there faster than you trying to do it on your own. And, a lot of the knowledge that I have, whether it's in book writing or just in life, it's like, well, especially the authors that come to me, they didn't know me, but they published before me. And then they say, okay, I realize all these mistakes are in my book. And, of course, I'm here. I know that they're an author that cares about the quality of their work, so we fix it. But I like to tell authors, if you do it right the first time, do it right the first time. And what I notice is a lot of authors, they take a long time to finish the book, and then they want to rush. I need my book by such and such date. I need my book by Christmas. I need my book, And it's like, it's a process. Right? So I try not to work with authors who are in a rush, because I don't believe in rushing in my regular life. Like, I just do not. There was a time that I used to rush, but I realized there's no power in rushing, right? When you are calm and relaxed, and especially when you're talking about a product, our focus is quality.
Yeah.
We're not rushing quality. Now, if it's a reasonable time frame, yes. But the authors who I need it done in a week, come on. So I believe in quality, right? And I believe in taking time so we get it right the first time.
So what would be a time frame? Let's say today I want to write a book, and let's say I finish a book in 2 or 3 months and I give it to you as an editor. What would be a comfortable time? Just, I know every book is different.
Every book is different, but just for a time range, children books take shorter time, but illustrations do take a long time. So it depends on the illustrator, but it can take anywhere from 3 months up to 6 months for a children's book.
Okay.
Maybe longer if the illustrations are taking a little bit longer. For a regular, let's just say, novel or a nonfiction book, self-help book, memoir, things like that, depending on how long it is. Again, that could take anywhere up from 3 months to a year, because I've had books that was over 300 something pages. So it takes time when you're doing it right.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. So as we begin to wrap some things up, we always like to pass things along. What would you like to pass along to your listeners out there that's listening to you right now, Sunday, on their way to work, church, or some of our people that are listening are in the prison system right now? What words of wisdom would you like to pass down to them? I got her stumped.
Well, the question is such a powerful question, and when I'm very much aware that there's an audience out there. So as you asking, I'm listening.
Okay.
But I also have to ask myself, right? The God in me, right?
Yeah.
God, what do these people need to hear, right? Because everyone needs to hear something different. So the wisdom that I will pass, it will probably be multiple things.
Okay.
The one that's heavy on my heart right now would be the biblical story about burying the talents. And most people, when they hear that story, if you don't know the story, it's basically like a owner. He was about to leave town, and he gave each servant 3 servants. He gave one person 1 talent, 1 5, and 1 10. The numbers may be off, but it's something like that. Okay, and when he came back, the one who had 1, he said, well, he just buried it. He didn't do anything with it. But the people who had 5 and 10, they multiplied their talents. When I first used to read that story, I always thought money. Talent, right? Back in those days, talents was coins and talent. It was money. But the more I started evolving, I was like, no. I mean, yes, it could have been literal money, right? For interest and things like that. But I started feeling like it was talent, your talents, your gifts. Some people, they only have 1 talent, and they are good at it. Mechanics, that's a talent. That's a skill that I don't have. Yeah, I don't want to have it, right? Yeah. But then there's people like me. I have multiple talents, and I could bury them. Or I could use them. So people say, well, you're a good writer, but I'm also a good encourager. I'm also a good listener. These are talents. These are skills and gifts that everyone doesn't have, or they haven't honed those skills and talents. So I want people, as they're listening to me, they may not be a writer, right? They may not be a person that can draw and illustrate, right? But they may be good at doing hair, right? They may be good at speaking to people. They may be good at gardening. Whatever they're good at, they need to do it, right? Because even with me, I love gardening now. I didn't always do it, and I do it now just because it makes me feel good. I feel good when I do it. So I try to start my day with gardening. And I say gardening. I'm hoping I'm enunciating it correct. Gardening, y'all, growing plants and fruits and vegetables, that kind of stuff. So the thing is, it's still a talent and a gift, because as I grow and I see something from seed that I can grow and eat and cut it and eat, I'm like, wow, this is a talent. This is a skill, right? So I just say whatever your gift or skill or talent is, use it. Because a lot of times we think it's to make money but sometimes it's for you. Sometimes the skill or talent is for your peace, for your comfort. And then along the way, you just might make some talents, some money off that thing, right? If it aligns. But I say if you're doing it genuinely. So I think that's one of the things I wanted to share. And another thing is just like, don't procrastinate. One of the sayings that I have with the business, the motto is, don't let that book die inside of you.
I like that.
Don't let that book die inside of you. So I tell people, don't let the book die inside of you. Don't let the business idea die inside of you. Don't let the dream or the desire that you have for your life die inside of you. And a lot of times we as humans, we like to have excuses. It's money, or that's the main thing. You know how that goes. Or time. It's money or time, right? But it's like, no. If you really want something, you're going to put in that time. You're going to make a way. There is a way to do everything. And when it's really for you, it'll align so smooth and easily. You just have to take the initiative to walk where you're going, or call the people that need it. Find out. I mean, we got all this technology. Yeah. Look it up. Figure it out. But do it.
Definitely. I tell you, procrastination, initiative, those are two of the top words, but initiative is the word of the day. It has been an honor and a pleasure. And before we close, if somebody that is listening to you right now want to reach out to you, how do they reach out to you? What's your handles?
I am Manifest Masters Consulting on Facebook and Instagram. They're both Manifest Masters Consulting. And I'm on Facebook and Instagram. And I also have a website, manifestmasters.net. Manifestmasters.net. So don't be afraid to do something different. Y'all know it. Everybody be like, .com. I'm .net. .net. It's okay to be different, okay? But manifestmasters.net. That's me. But they can reach out to me. They can message me on Facebook or Instagram, any of those, and just even through my website, and just reach out. Another motto we have is get started, get finished, and get published. That's what we do. I love that. Get started, get finished, get published. That's the goal.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a phenomenal show with Miss Miriam, Fountain of Youth Manifest.
I love it.
It's been a wonderful show, and I appreciate you being on the show. I know it's been a minute. It's been hit or miss with us, and I love to have you back on again for any upcoming events or anything that you have. And thank you for being on.
Thank you. And we do have a workshop that'll be January 14th in 2026. Yes, baby, we are all the way in 2026. Be there with us. But it's actually a free workshop hosted by myself, but sponsored by the Harker Heights Library for people. It'll be for adults this time, and we'll go through the publishing process. We'll help them with a basically step-by-step checklist on what they need to do to get started, get finished, and get published. So you can't use not having money as an excuse, because the community is offering this for free, and I love hosting these events. So make sure you all come out. It's 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. We call it Workshop Wednesday. So it's January 14th, 2026 at the Harker Heights Library from 5:30 to 7:30. I would love to see all of you there. And whether you're a writer or even an illustrator or a drawer, people that draw, please come. Please come. We would just love to help you get further than where you are and just get published.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here on the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, and Miss Miriam Manifest passed it along. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you next week with the Lively Art of Conversation.